Have you ever been hurt while doing the nasty? I mean, maybe you've pulled a Charlie horse or fallen off the bed or a rail, but have you gone to the ER, the emergency room? Well, we've got Dr. Sexberry here from Florida who's gonna share her medical experience on what she's witnessed, but we've got friends of the Nightcap who are also here who've actually been victims themselves. So let's get into it.
Yeah, what's up for a Nightcap? Chill, you know, kick back.
Welcome to the Nightcap. It's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and Dr. Sexberry's in the building. Like I said, Dr. Kanwal Bawa, thanks for coming, boo.
It's always a party with you, my friend.
Yes, girl. And you were an emergency doctor for a long time, right? An emergency room doctor. So you have seen a thing or two.
If you can think it, I have likely seen it and pulled it out of somewhere.
Okay, so when it comes to sex, what different injuries did you witness in the ER?
Well, since you don't have enough time on this show, I'll give you some of my highlights.
Okay.
So I once had a gentleman come in with his wife, and he still had a vibrator vibrating up his butt. Yeah, apparently.
How long had it been in there before he decided to go?
Not long. The battery hadn't died.
Oh, God.
So
okay.
He came soon.
Okay.
Apparently, these things come with a string, and she lost the string. Who knew?
So how do you take it out? With forceps or something?
We didn't end up taking it out. He ended up going to the OR.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's no pooping it out, there's no helping on your floor. They gotta get some surgery.
Yes, and one of my patients thought that he should take Miralax and maybe he would poop it out, but it had quite the opposite effect. It traveled up, and then he needed abdominal surgery.
What?
Yes, it was a show.
Literally.
Literally.
Literally a show. Oh my God. Okay, so apparently a lot of objects in ass is what you've experienced.
Yes, vegetables too. And I don't know how people think that I would go for this story, but this one gentleman said that he was getting the groceries in and he slipped. Now, how that carrot went past his jeans and everything in the front yard, I'm not sure, but that was his story and he was sticking to it. He,
with a very straight face, said that after grocery shopping, he tripped on a carrot.
That's right.
And did he do it? Did he ride on that story to the end?
To the end.
Wow. So as doctors, you ever say, like, now, come on, tell me the truth?
Yes.
And repeatedly, he said no.
Well, some break. He was strong.
He was strong. So is that the most common fruit you witnessed was a carrot, or were there others?
No, there was also a banana up a lady's vagina.
What?
Without the peel on. Now go explain that to someone.
Without the peel? I mean,
I don't know.
It just doesn't seem like it would be pleasurable. Was it in a condom? Was it just the banana?
Well, she came to the ER, and my nurse came to me and said, you need to talk to me before room 9. That's never a good sign.
Oh.
And she told me, you cannot laugh in there. But there's a lady who says she lost a banana in there. So I said, how small is this thing? Like, how do you lose a banana up a vaginal canal, right?
Right.
But she said she put it in there, so I got all gowned, put my face shield on, because you never know what's going to come flying out at you. You got to be careful and prepared. And then I looked, and I'm going cockeyed as I'm looking with my little speculum, and my nurse is wondering why I'm looking so confused, because it's a banana, for the love of God. How hard is it to pull out, right?
Right.
But there was nothing there. And so I looked up finally after I was done, with my search expedition, and I said to her, I don't see it. I don't even see a peel. She said, well, that's because I peeled it.
Oh my God.
And so now I didn't know whether to laugh or cry.
Right.
And she said that she had put it in a few days ago and she wasn't sure where it went. And I said, I guess there was a banana split in your vagina, my friend.
Wait, okay, so there was no mush left. There was nothing that came out.
She came many days later. Apparently she was wondering why it hadn't come out. But, I guess bits and pieces had come out over time.
I mean, is there anything within your vagina that can could the juices really dissolve a fruit like that?
After enough time, yes.
Wow.
Well, I don't think it was one of the big ones, one of those big bananas, but even if it was a small one over time, the vagina has, an acid-base balance and, things.
Okay, you got another juicy story for me?
Oh, I have lots of juicy stories for you.
What else you got?
Some of them don't make any sense. I had one patient who came in. He lost a porcelain egg up his butt, an actual egg. Now, how was he planning to keep a grip on it? I don't know. It doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
But not much in the ER makes sense. It made me Dr. Sex Fairy after all. I figured I had to figure out what was happening in their world, in their lives, that all these accidents were happening.
So once you transitioned from ER medicine to becoming a sexual wellness doctor, was it your experience in the ER that helped, you know, build that curiosity and mold you in that journey?
100%.
Yeah.
Becoming Dr. Sex Fairy was not on my horizon. I was an emergency medicine specialist, but I saw so much sexual dysfunction and so young that it really got me thinking. I mean, why a man in his 20s would come in complaining about not being able to get an erection, why a woman would feel the need to come to an ER to talk about her vaginal dryness. I said, where are they doctors? What's going on?
And you're like, I'm going to be that answer.
I'm going to be the answer.
Love it. All right, well, coming up next, I'm going behind the bar with my guy, Jesse James, who's making a spicy blueberry margarita. And then we've got the experience of our friends, the Nightcap, and their ER stories. So stay right there. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about different injuries that land people in the ER, but I'm behind the bar now with my guy Jesse James from the Secret Group, because you're gonna do what?
We're gonna back that glass up.
And there are no injuries to be had here, okay? All right, so what are you shaking up?
We're gonna make a Margarita all about it, which is a spicy blueberry margarita.
Margarita all about it.
Margarita all about it. You got it. First, we're gonna start
funny.
by rimming it with some tahini to give it a little
Love
spice.
tahini,
It's the
yes.
best, isn't it?
All right, so have you ever been injured while making love?
I have, but only emotionally. Just the way I feel afterwards has been pretty tough. Taking a lot of therapy to recover from a few of them. Yeah, definitely. No, the closest I've ever been to an injury is like when I'm on top of her.
Interesting.
That's probably the closest I've been to an injury. Because if I lose my footing, that's it. It's gonna look like an elephant's hat on her.
Jesse, no. But you haven't.
Not that I can think of, other than maybe getting kicked in the balls.
No, I'm
on
saying you've
accident
never
or
fallen
something.
on your partner, and so they're all good.
No, I
They're
haven't.
all with us.
It looked
Okay,
like
good.
that scene from The Wizard of Oz where her feet are sticking out of the bottom, you know, when the house falls on her.
the witch.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
exactly what it
Legs
would look
up.
like.
Nothing to
Yeah.
see but legs.
How about you?
Oh,
Ooh.
listen, maybe if I drink a little, I'll divulge things. But mainly it's Charlie horses. Those are what I get all the time.
I get a ton of cramps. I do get a lot of cramps.
Yeah, but producer Hobby's saying I need bananas and a potassium in my life.
Where are you supposed to put those?
I'm sorry?
I said, where are you supposed to put those? Didn't she just say not to do that?
Yes, sorry. Hobby was telling me a joke at the same time.
Was
the
it a
same
good one?
joke, but very different. She said, I'm not going to do what that patient did. I won't be doing that. It's not what you do
Beautiful.
with the bananas. And without the peel. Like what? I don't.
Would you rather do it with the peel?
I mean, I feel like it'll just stay more together.
How impressive
Like
would
it's
it be
just
if you
mush.
put it in with the peel and you pulled it out without the peel? Like tying a cherry in a knot in your tongue instead with the banana? That would blow my mind. And she's already got the ice cream ready and just pops it out on top of
That's
the
a
sundae.
banana split.
Yeah, that is a banana split, literally.
But wait, where's the, so does the peel not come out?
The other end.
I know, okay, now that's just, no, that's too much.
You're not down? All right.
Oh, that was the quickest shake ever. I didn't
You
even
like
like dance.
Try this and see if that inspires you to do anything with the banana.
Luckily, there are no bananas in sight, okay?
Not in sight, but I've got one hidden.
This is delicious. This conversation got a little too spicy, so I'm gonna go to the couch, ladies and gentlemen, where people can share their experiences where they went to the ER. And let me tell you, they're gonna blow your mind. All right, so I don't have to share a thing. Stay right there. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about different injuries that send people to the ER while they're having sex. Dun, dun, dun. We've talked about it with Dr. Sex Fairy, Dr. Kanwal Bawa, but now we've got my friends here, Nitra, Scott Shunk, and Dami, who have your personal experience with going to the ER because of sex adventures.
Yeah, I mean, of course, especially if you like to explore, you know, like I mean, we were sitting up here talking, and I can't compete with some of these guys, but
All right, so you Scott's snorting. Okay, this is
right, like I feel like a kindergartner.
All right, start with the kindergarten story.
I mean,
guys.
Warm us
it was
up.
my
warm us up.
20th, it was my 29th birthday.
Okay.
And the guy I was dating wanted to put birthday cake ice cream down below.
Okay.
And it was all good. And you know, after you have like a great session, you know, sometimes you just go straight to sleep.
Yeah.
And I thought he ate it all. And I woke up the next morning and took a shower. It was all good. But like 2 days later, it was like a loaf of bread in my panties that I didn't know anything about. And being diabetic, I went to the ER thinking it was something bad. And it was just a yeast infection gone bad, like bad.
Very bad.
Very
Dr.
bad.
Baba, have you seen something like this before?
Not as colorful as her story. Not with birthday cake, but yes, diabetics are actually more prone to yeast infections anyway.
Oh, wow.
And then when you add to that birthday cake ice cream, you know, the recipe for trouble.
It was good times though, man. It was good times.
So you started with the banana split and went to a
Ooh,
baguette.
I didn't even get the banana. I just got split. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was good times though.
All right, Dami, let's elevate this a little bit. Are we going to grammar school now?
Maybe a little bit high school.
High
I think
school,
I think this is graduate school right here. So we're in high school.
Okay.
So my story is as follows. So I was with a guy in which he was well endowed, and he was hitting it from the back, and we're getting it in, and we oohing and ahhing and all that type of stuff. Well, I guess he hit the back of it too hard, and my leg either locked up or went limp. And I went forward, and my hair caught on fire by the candles. So, yeah, so I ended up... So he ended up having to pick me up.
So sorry.
He ended up having to pick me up.
How
'cause I
quickly
couldn't
did you
walk.
notice
That my hair was on fire?
Yes.
Oh, you smelled it?
Oh, yeah. Smell it.
He was-
Gives it
I was
away.
like, wait a minute, oh my
You was
God.
like Michael Jackson on the Coke commercial.
Black girl, hair on fire,
Black
she
hair,
knows.
I know it. We could smell it. So we ended up going to the ER because like I banged up my knee. I hit my ear, like my hair was on fire. Luckily we were able to save, you know, all this fabulousness. But
Right.
I don't know. That was a crazy ass night. We never had sex again. He's not getting into this box. But I wish him well on all his endeavors. And yeah, that's
Was
how
it
I
because he
got.
wasn't careful enough, or
I don't know.
or it was just too much?
Maybe it was too much at the time, but the way he was hitting it and the way I went forward, baby, we'll never have sex again.
Yeah. Did
I
you
was
tell
good.
the ER doctor
I sure
what
did.
actually happened?
Come on now, I sure did. I was like, so we were in here doing the damn thing, and he hit it a little too hard, and now we're here. So
How often did you find people actually telling you the truth right off the bat?
50-50.
50-50. Okay. So not everyone is like you, Todd.
no, you gonna know these facts. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, so we've graduated high school, we've gone through university, now we're going to graduate school.
Hold on, let me get a drink.
Scott Shunk.
Let me
get a
drink.
drink.
Let me get a drink.
Everybody
What
needs
kind
a
of
drink for
story?
Scott right
Are
here.
you serious? All right, let me drink this spicy blueberry margarita.
Okay, this is a tale. Be prepared. There's a yarn here. So, occasionally in some of the work I've done over the years, I need to do things to be able to perform. There is something called Trimax, which is an injectable ED medication. And it requires, therefore, once used, it requires no actual sexual, mental, physical stimulation. Your just does what it does. All the blood vessels dilate, the blood comes in, and just bang, massive, great erection. This is an injectable thing, injected into one's junk.
Okay, Dr. Sexberry has already given the looks of like, So is this recommended?
I warn people against Trimax
Okay.
because
all right.
I have seen this more often than I can count.
All right,
I have
let's see if-
PTSD from those prior people.
All right, let's see if we get PTSD
get
right now. All right, continue. So
Well,
now we've got the warning from the doctor.
I had 3 doctors who made a comedy routine out of it. Jesse would have a hard time competing with these 3 doctors. So now I was testing this out. So I'm with my then girlfriend, and I'm like, listen, I got to test this out. So I take it for a run. Beautiful, right? And I would not have needed this in my normal romantic situation, but this is client work. enough said. Anyway, moving on. So,
Client work.
at any rate, so this all of a sudden we're like, okay, it's like, you know, still got this boner, you know, after popping, and you know, I'm like, don't really want this boner anymore. I'm about 45, 60 minutes in. So I take care of myself in an effort to, you know, try a second pop. Second pop does nothing. I'm like, okay, this will work itself out.
You're still hard now.
I'm still hard, and I mean
90
hard.
minutes.
I'm hard. I will have to send this pic. I have a picture of me in the ER bed. I'll send it to Hobbit.
I need to see
But
this picture.
at this point, I'm now in the gym working out in a pair of joggers with a hoodie over it. And I'm like, because I want to get my workout in, because I'm me. I'm working out, and then I'm starting to lose my mind. Now I'm like 90 minutes in, and I, you know those end of the ED commercials where it says, if you experience an erection lasting longer than 8 hours,
Yes.
you know, it's like seek medical profession, you know, seek medical help immediately. And I'm like, what if something goes wrong? I run across to the CVS from my gym. I talk to the pharmacist, who's a woman about my age, and she's like, she gives me the text, says, oh, bless your heart, son.
Oh, no.
And at this point, I know I'm just absolutely you know, and then now I've got my children with me on top of this. I have to run my children back to their mom. I drop my older boy off. I'm like, Marcy, you know, and she's like looking at me like, I am so glad I divorced this man. I am so glad. This is exactly why we are no longer married.
Right.
Then I have to, but worse, I have to take my 9-year-old to a Nerf gun jousting birthday party, and I'm dropping him off with the mom.
And
you know,
you're still hard.
in hoodie, you know, and like everything just kind of covered up. Like, okay, we're gonna go. Now I'm getting concerned. I'm 4 hours into this thing, you know, and you know, I'm kind of really attached to my cock at this point in my life after 55 years at that point. So at this point, I seek medical treatment. I go to a walk-in, and they're like, okay, no, you're going straight to the ER. And I'm like, no, it's not that bad. It's like, you know, it's like when they send the helicopters, you're like, I'm not helicopter hurt, just put me in the regular ambulance. Right? I'm like, no, can't we just handle this here? And they're like, no. So then I go to the ER, and now I'm sitting there, and, you know, and I'm in the ER, I'm in the bed, and they're coming in, and they're like, I got two, you know, two of the little guys, you know, the little doctors, not the resident, but, you know, he's in there, and they're like, oh my God, and they're like 25 years old. And the big doctor comes in, the resident, who's my age, and he's like, you know, Scott, everybody thinks our job's really easy, but it's hard. And I'm like, oh my God. You know, but I'm losing my mind at this point. My blood pressure's through the roof. I've taken all these things that I thought might be the antidote, which are like basically ephedrine. And so like my heart rate is racing. I'm sitting there, and they're trying to do everything they can to get me to calm down, to get my body to calm down. They're giving me blood pressure medication just to try to get rid of this, because they don't want to do the actual intervention that's coming, so to speak. And at any rate, they're like, so my girlfriend comes in, you know, the doctors are there, you know, and like they're holding my and the doctor's like, he's like, hon, you want to get on this one last ride before we take care of it in case it doesn't work? And I'm like, this is awful.
Shameless.
And so anyway, what ends up happening is they have to drain the blood from my and it required 27 syringes with this thing called a butterfly, and these two young guys, the one doctor, the resident's holding my dick like this, and the two residents are just piercing my with a syringe with a hose on it too, and they're pulling out blood. 27 syringes of blood into like one of those little plastic buckets they have, you know, at Target for $1 on your way in the store. And they're like 27 vials. And so the lead doc goes, can you imagine what would have happened if you were well endowed? And I'm like,
Oh my God.
So they sent me home high as hell on fentanyl, and and I drove into oncoming traffic. No, it was everything. And then I had then there was the next week of testing things out. My was wildly bruised, but you know, everything worked. There was no permanent damage, no residual effect, but you know, so I had a lot of.
So have you used that drug again?
I will not be using any injectable medication ever again. Yes.
I think lessons learned here.
Yeah,
What a
lesson learned.
cautionary
Yeah,
tale.
the divine has ways of speaking to you. You know.
Yes. 27 syringes worth.
don't
Okay,
do it.
ladies and
Look,
gentlemen.
we both are like,
All right.
"Ooh."
Well, listen, this conversation is going to have to continue because I need Dr. Bawa to chime in here with, you know, some expertise, all right? So you stay right there and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We just heard the most astonishing story from Scott. And if you missed it, you better rewind that bitch and listen, because that is a story for the ages and quite a cautionary tale. It involves 27 syringes removed from his penis. Now, you use this particular drug. What was that again?
Trimax.
Trimax. Dr. Bawa, you said that's a no-no. You have PTSD from it. So if somebody is dealing with ED or just wants to function for a client or for other reasons, is there something that they should use instead?
Yes, I actually came up with the Bawa shot. As we mentioned earlier, I had seen so much priapism, or this erection that won't go away because of ED medications like Trimax, that I knew there had to be a better way. So I started using regenerative therapies like platelet-rich fibrin, which comes from your own blood, takes growth factor from your blood, and stimulates your stem cells to essentially have a younger penis or a vagina. I do it for the sisters too.
She does it for the sisters.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll drink to that.
So Scott, that's probably, if you try anything, that's the one to go
Yeah,
for.
well, we're gonna talk. Maybe I can be a spokesperson.
Listen, don't try any of what you heard today at home. And if you need any help, maybe Bawa's the answer for you, all right? All right, well, cheers to you. I hope you enjoyed the many wonderful tales. Cheers. And cheers to y'all. Thank you for sharing. Yes.
Oh, man.
Jesse.